Good to be with you guys on a Thursday here inside the vault. It's the 14th of August. I'm Bobby Trossett. This is Sarah Ellison, and we're glad you can be with us. This episode is brought to you by thevaultpod.com/shop, where you can go check out our brand new apparel line that dropped last month. We've got a lot to get to over the course of the next hour. First, on the way in, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member, perhaps gift-giving membership. You already know Douglas H. Brown Sr. is alive and well, and we're excited to have him and all of you with us here inside the vault today. Sarah, Rashod Bateman and Lamar Jackson's connection has reached another level, according to reporters on the scene yesterday at practice, and we have video evidence of such as well, a big deep ball connection between the two, and it seems as if that chemistry is alive and well going into the season, really like almost in mid-season form. We'll get into that right off the top today. An MVP voter and a widely respected journalist, Mike Sando, Sarah, called out what he refers to as quarterback snobs in defense of Lamar Jackson. Mike Green's seen working with a former Ravens legend and a boatload of AFC North storylines. Great to see you. We're off and running.
Good to see you. And that doesn't even mention like the pressures. Roquan, there's Roquan Smith talking on NFL Network. We got Justice Hill. We've got Cooper Rush. We got the Dallas game coming up. A lot to get to. But first, yes, Bobby, we will start with this connection between Lamar Jackson and Rashod Bateman, because I'm seeing things like from beat reporters that were in attendance that they were looking like they were in mid-season form. Lots of teams want to make sure they don't start slow. Maybe that could still happen, but perhaps that won't happen with Lamar and Bateman, because Bobby, yesterday was the final padded practice of the week before they head out to Dallas. I know today is just a non-media day where they're doing a quick walkthrough before they go to the game. Lots of Ravens didn't practice yesterday. Kyle Hamilton, Keaton Mitchell, Marcus Major, DeAndre Hopkins, Jair Alexander, Jalen Armour-Davis, and of course, Isaiah Likely and Emory Jones. So no reporters even asked about them and why they weren't practicing, because they've asked already John Harbaugh, and he said none of those were serious. So that's good. And as we get ready to go to Dallas, John Harbaugh did let us know that all the starters that did not play last week against the Colts, again, will not play this week. And I imagine Keaton Mitchell will probably be added to that list. At least I hope he's added. So that's why it's nice to get reports of what's going on in practice, because we're not going to see Rashod. We're not going to see Lamar. It sounded like practice opened up with kind of a slow start in the red zone period, where Lamar Jackson was called for a sack. Nobody actually sacked him, but refs call it dead. And then he had 3 straight incompletions. And then Bobby, after that, Lamar started to tear it up. Not only did Rashod Bateman connect once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, but according to the Baltimore Banner, they connected 6 times in practice yesterday. And that includes what was the highlight of the day, which was this, some reporters were calling it a 40-yarder, some were calling it a 50-yarder, maybe it's somewhere in between, but check out this deep shot from Lamar Jackson as he's being protected right there by number 77. And boom, right in the breadbasket for Rashod Bateman, who is streaking down the left sideline. There he is. Absolutely. Let's play this again. Celebrating there. And so there's 77 keeping off Matabike. Beautiful pass. Such a rainbow in the breadbasket right in between Chidobe Awuzie and Sanusi Kane. Okay. And it sounds to me, Bobby, and we've seen a lot of the videos where it's Rashod Bateman is becoming a deep downfield threat for Lamar Jackson, which hasn't really come into fruition like a regular downfield threat. But now we're seeing more and more of these videos coming in. We see it right here with this anywhere from a 40 to 50 yarder.
Love it. It's picking up right where we left off, right where Rashod himself left off. And I think it's significant the last 2 seasons, Sarah, he's posted a fully healthy regular season for the most part. And you kind of think about how the narrative has changed, the label around Rashod Bateman has changed. This time last year, it was like, okay, he's coming off his first true full healthy season in 2023. Can he do it again? And now instead of that question, like for me, it's not can he do it again? I feel confident that he can stay healthy again. It's can he take this thing to the next level like he and Lamar are starting to tease that they're more than capable of doing at this point early in the process in the summer. I say early. I mean, training camp's coming down to the wire here. Rosters cuts
we're in the dog days of training camp for sure.
Yeah. It still feels early in like the journey of where they're headed. But in terms of, roster construction and 53-man roster cuts, they're coming up at the end of this month. But that's no longer the question to me, Sarah. I feel confident that he's going to be available. It's not can he do it. Can he take this thing to be a complimentary second season duo with Zay Flowers, and maybe they both start to push for 4 figures in the receiving yards category? That, to me, is the next question. You know what this guy is. You know that he's a big play bait type guy and is coming off his breakout campaign, and he's now stacked consecutive healthy seasons. He was awarded for such this offseason with the extension, his second in as many years. So that's the question for me moving forward, and the fact that we can no longer, or we no longer have to question whether or not he's going to be available feels like a big win more than anything else.
Well, it's interesting that you ask about the next level. Like, what is it, right? Like, because he was such a dominant figure in yesterday's practice, it had lots of people giving some hot takes and some predictions. I'll get to one hot take in just a minute that I want to get your opinion on. But it does, we've asked ourselves this question a few times, like, what is his ceiling? What is his ceiling in 2025? I'm looking up his stats throughout his career, and we know he's been injured. But his first year, 515 yards, then 285, then 367. I mean, those injuries definitely held him back. Last year was the first time he was fully healthy, and he didn't have like Odell Beckham Jr. kind of in there where he had to split up targets. So last year he had 756 yards. That was on 45 receptions. So Bobby, if he's averaging 16.8 yards per reception, and he had, so that was on 45 receptions. How many more receptions can he have? Let's say he keeps around that 16.8. Other times he's been a little bit lower or even a little bit higher. But 16.8, let's say if he gets 60 receptions next year and keeps around that 16.8, he'll be a 1,000-yard receiver. The question is can he have 60? That would be 15 more. It also means he'd have to have more targets. He had 72. So I think I'm with you. I'm to the point where like my doubts of Rashod Bateman really aren't there. Like last year at this time, we were still like, who are we going to get? We weren't sure yet. Well, now I feel more confident as long as he's healthy. And so lots of targets to go around. There's got to be Zay Flowers. It's going to be Mark Andrews. It's going to be Isaiah Likely when he returns. You got the running game. So lots to go on around. Will he get 60 targets? And if so, if he's around there, I think he could hit 1,000 yards.
A lot of this could very well hinge on what the timetable is like for Isaiah.
Yeah.
Obviously, Likely's just a couple weeks removed now from his foot fracture surgery, and it's supposed to be like a 6 to 8 week timetable when you look at the medical. So will he be ready week 1? If I'm a betting man, I say no. And then the question is, well, when is Isaiah really going to command those targets again, even if he is available, based on what his play and his body and how his play, I should say how his body is responding. So that might help Sarah Bateman early on in the first. And we'll have to figure out whether or not he's going to be an IR candidate. We'll know that in the next couple of weeks. And the Ravens have to make a decision. Do they think that he's going to be back within the first 4 games? Hopefully. I sure hope so, but we don't know if that's going to be a guarantee based on where he's at in his rehab.
Well, meanwhile, Bobby, I wanted to get your take on this. I want to make sure I'm saying his name right. It's Nikhil Mehta. Am I saying that right from Russell Street Report? I hope I'm saying that right. But he's been at practice every single day, reporting, being a beat reporter for Russell Street Report. And he talked about how good Rashod Bateman looked yesterday. He called him the offense's player of the day. He said he had excellent timing and spacing on his short routes, consistently separated over the middle, and hit the afterburners to jet pass. So he talks about the 40, or he called it a 50-yard touchdown right there. And then he says, hot take, Bateman is the best Ravens wide receiver in the Lamar era. Are you ready to go there?
Who's he competing against? Just Zay.
Well, I'd say there's not a lot of competition, granted. We've discussed the receivers in the past. I think obviously Zay would be one. And I think you have to put Marquise Hollywood Brown in there, as he was a 1,000-yard receiver, which Bateman to this date, we just went through his numbers, have not hit 1,000 yards. Both Zay has, and he was a Pro Bowler last year. And so I would say up to this point, Rashod has not been the best Ravens wide receiver in the Lamar era. But is there potential? Sure. But right now I have to put still both Marquise and Zay ahead of him. And then I think it would be a competition even this season between Zay and Rashod going forward.
Yeah, I'll take Zay. I'll take Zay for right now. It's obviously hasn't been decided, won't be decided until years down the line, to your point there. I think maybe the player that has the most potential among those three that we mentioned in terms of career trajectory, explosiveness, route running, man, the separation that he creates, I think it's Bateman out of those three. Even though he and Zay are just consistently in that separation category together among the league's best. So I'll go with Zay for right now. I mean, obviously it's an active battle in real time, which is a great problem to have with two players that are under Lamar Jackson in this offense at the wide receiver position. You imagine having this debate a couple years ago? Get real dicey. It would be Hollywood by a mile a couple years ago. And prior to that, who would you have taken? Willie?
Yeah.
All due respect. Willie?
Yeah. Nope, none of those. The Des Bryant, when he was on the practice squad for so long and then finally got in for a couple of games. So the competition isn't high.
There was rookie preseason tape making its rounds through social media within the last couple of days of one of Lamar's games. And first of all, to see his body, the way that he has evolved since that 2018 summer is remarkable. But I can remember one specific wide receiver that was definitely out there competing in preseason play. And you're going to have to help me out here. It's Jaleel Scott, right? Was he not a wide receiver on that 2018
I remember Jaleel
team?
Scott. There was a lot of different receivers, though, Bobby, that have come and gone, but Jaleel could be one of them.
Yeah, just from that highlight tape, I was watching it, and it just takes you down memory lane. And to now know that he has the supporting cast around him that he does, even though it was a little bit late, a little bit tardy for a lot of our likings. It's a good problem to have right now with how much talent he's got around him.
Meanwhile, Bobby, Lamar's connection wasn't just with Bateman yesterday, although obviously that was the most talked about because it was happening so often. But according to various reports, let's see here. Jackson also zipped the ball to Mark Andrews for a big gain over the middle, with Jake Hummel trailing right behind Andrews. They got Justice Hill and Lamar connecting. It says Justin Hill did a nice job picking up a Trenton Simpson blitz to give Jackson time to connect with Mark Andrews again. He also found Devontae Walker for a touchdown in the red zone on a fade route. And so Walker hauled in that pass in the back of the corner of the end zone with Nate Wiggins tight in coverage. So Lamar felt pretty good yesterday after a slow start. And that's all you want to hear, knowing that he's probably not going to get any preseason action.
Yeah, and any action he would have gotten next week for the previously scheduled joint practice with the Commanders has been canceled. That just came out a couple minutes prior to the live stream. So no joint practice next week, which was scheduled to be in Landover, and that's where the third and final preseason game is. Sarah, coming off of Saturday's game in Dallas, but they cited some logistical challenges. It's a short turnaround, and they're just going to go prepare for that third game as it is, with no joint practice between the Ravens and Commanders coming up next week.
And a couple more practice notes. Tyler Loop was 6 of 8 yesterday. He missed from 46 and 47. It's always like you pointed out, and it's like those mid 40 range kicks, but he made a long one from 52. And then in a free kick scenario, he made another from 67. 67. That's, again, it was a free kick scenario, but again, it speaks to his leg, just trying to continue to get that consistency going. And then Bobby, here's something interesting. Jeff's Rebeck had picked up at the end of practice, although the way he phrased it, I can tell you had a lot of Ravens fans nervous, including me when I first read it. It came up in my timeline. It says, towards the end of practice, Mike Green was off the side of the field. And I was like, oh, crap. Like, that's usually like somebody working out an injury. But then, little plot twist, good news here. He's on the side of the field going through pass rush moves with former Raven Michael McCrary. And I know that's a blast from the past if you've just kind of like, if you're younger and haven't been following the Ravens forever, but that's a pass rush legend right there with Michael McCrary coaching up the rookie. And I would have liked to have seen video of that, Bobby, but I didn't see anything like that come out.
That's the classic, like, you're on the edge of your seat through the first half of that little tweet here from Jeff, and he's probably got all people in his mentions being like, Jeff, please, the wording, please.
Yeah.
Can you shift around the wording? But hey, Mike has proven to be pretty darn sturdy here in the early going, Sarah. He hasn't missed much from the looks of it, and just seems like he's a sponge. And you hope he is in a moment like that. There's a lot to learn from the legend that is Michael McCrary, before my time, obviously, of covering the team, but had a chance to do a few things here and there with his appearances during my radio days. And he is definitely somebody that's still very much involved in the Baltimore area and a visible figure. So good on Mike for getting good on both of them, right? Good on both Mikes. OG Mike for showing up and wanted to help. I would think that conversation has to be helpful. It can't be not helpful.
Right.
And then for Mike just to continue to be the sponge that he is, having come in with what Chuck Smith described as this skilled up ability of pass rush techniques and everything that he's come in for Marshall and prior to that, Virginia. The dude just seems, and I think that's maybe the common theme here, Sarah, between their two rookies that could have been first round picks and Malachi and Mike. They just seem like they have a level of savvy, one from the collegiate experience. Obviously, Georgia's going to give you that. But Mike, I think at Marshall and Virginia, just found the right, obviously some of this is ability. The majority of this is ability, but who he worked with along the way, man, these guys feel advanced, to use a word that Roquan Smith used. And we'll get to that in just a bit about the Rook.
Well, and here's what's crazy is that session after practice was after a really good practice for Mike Green again. And according to BaltimoreRavens.com, he once again showed relentlessness throughout Wednesday's practice. It says in a period focused on gap integrity and run fits, Green was constantly disruptive. On one play, he bulldozed poor tight end Scotty Washington. How many videos have we shown of him just bulldozing him? It's just not even fair at this point. But he bulldozed him again, apparently to the ground again. And the Ravens wrapped up practice with a pass rush drill in the middle of the field with the rest of the team encircled. Green won his reps, beating Carson Vinson, rookie tackle that the Ravens drafted. So he beat him around the edge once and then with an inside move on another. Defensive coordinator Zach Orr smiled after Green's sack, and pass rush coach Chuck Smith did some celebratory dance moves. I could see Dr. Rush doing that. And of course, he has that practice coming off of a very impressive first preseason game last week where, look at this, Bobby. We've got the grades, the top 5 preseason rookie debuts, according to Steve, I hope I say his name right, Palazzolo. He's got Abdul Carter, number 1, Carson Swessinger, linebacker for, was he their first rounder?
Schlesinger was either first or second rounder.
I want to say, I wonder if he was like remember when they traded away their first rounder and then they ended up getting this guy. But
He was a second rounder, and I can remember, I think the Ravens had him on an official visit on one of those, like, what'd they call him again? Like a top 50 visit or something along those lines. And I remember thinking to myself,
not like, top. It's not like they're ranking them. They just get 30 visits, something like that.
Top 30 visits.
But not top, just 30 visits. They're allowed 30 visits. There's no top. Like they're not ranking them.
Such. It's described as such.
Oh, that's right. We've had this discussion before. Well, I think it's a weird name to say call it the top.
Yeah, we're on the same page. The way it's described as a top 30 visit, I think they had him in. And I remember thinking to myself, like, is this a smoke screen? Why are they bringing this guy in? Like, he's a heck of a player, but is that who they're going to spend a first-round pick on? And sure enough, they didn't. He goes to the second round.
Right. Well, anyway, still going down this list of the top preseason rookie debuts, there was Schlesinger, then Jackson Dart, quarterback for New York Jets, then Shedeur Sanders, he's got it number 3. Shedeur, I thought was phenomenal. And then number 4 coming in is Mike Green. 5, just to round out the list, is LA's Willie Lampkin of the Rams. Gotcha. So, but Mike Green in that top 5 for rookie preseason debuts, and it was a good one.
Hey, just to clarify too, was it so Scotty Washington is the guy he was giving work to? Is that what you read?
Yes.
Okay. So on top of that, I think what you maybe alluded to there was the Zaire Mitchell-Payton.
Oh, I'm getting my tight ends, the back end tight ends mixed up.
But it's okay. I just want to be clear, in case people are following us thoroughly the way some of you do in recent weeks. Zaire's been the one that's been kind of on the wrong side of some of these padded practices with Mike Green and a lot of one-on-one drills.
So Mike Green is not discriminating between the tight ends. He's just putting them all on their butts. Correct.
Correct. That is the takeaway there, isn't it? Roquan Smith, Sarah, has had quite the takeaway so far, being in the same camp as a teammate of Malachi Starks, of course, the Ravens rookie first-round pick out of Georgia. And he sat down with the Didi from CBS Sports and had this to say. Pretty impressive stuff.
The most outsized things about a very young rookie. Why is that okay to set such high expectations for this particular young man?
I think it starts with just who he is as a person. I think the way he was raised, then I think it goes to like fast forward to college, and like not many guys are able to go start at Georgia as a freshman. So being able to do that, just knowing mentally he understands things conceptually and like just mature beyond his years, and just his approach day in and day out here while we're out here, and just how advanced he is, it amazes me. And I'm like, I wish I was like that as a rookie, but like, man, he's truly special, and he busts his tail day in and day out, and always eager to learn more and see what more he can do to just become better.
And how does that make your job easier when you can have a little bit more confidence in what's happening behind you?
Oh, that makes everyone's jobs easier, where you can just focus on your job and not other things that's not your job, in a sense. And just the way he approaches it day in and day out, you tell him something one time, he remembers it, he don't make the same mistake twice, and that's not often from rookies.
All right. So he's no stranger, Roquan, Sarah, as we learned, to building up his teammates. But at the same time, when this kind of high praise matches up with some of the film analysis here early on, particularly in that Colts game that the Ravens asked of Malachi Starks in terms of some of the versatility, some of the processing speed, some of the playmaking, some of the game within the game, you start to think, this dude is advanced. And he's coming in with those high leverage reps from Georgia as a legit starter freshman year, as a championship caliber safety for them. He did win a title as a Bulldog. And now, I guess the big question remains, good start in the Colts game, small sample size. Can all this processing that goes into translating college speed to professional speed, is that going to start to transition into playmaking right away for him? When is this rookie wall going to hit? It's going to hit at some point, but will he be able to navigate the storm and be a playmaker even in the midst of learning on the fly with no Ardarius Washington?
Right. And like everything we're hearing, it's echoing what Roquan Smith is saying. And I think the fact that they didn't play Malachi Starks too extensively in that first preseason game says a lot. Like if they felt like that he needed the work, they probably would have played him more. But Bobby, also from Roquan Smith, I remember back, he did that interview with the Baltimore Sun heading back into camp. And he kind of like hit on two things when he was talking about that slow start from last year. The first one was he had an injury and he was working through, which we didn't know about. The number two thing is he said that he needs to remember that he can only do his job, right? That maybe he was trying to do too much. And obviously part of that is the inside linebacker that's next to him. And last year that was Trenton Simpson to start. And then they moved more into a rotation with some veterans. But also the safety position was a mess through the first 9 weeks of the season as the Ravens were rotating between Marcus Williams and Eddie Jackson. Thank you. And so until Adarius Washington came around, there was that too. And so there's almost as Roquan's talking about him, I wonder if there's a little bit of relief on his end where it's like, this is great that I have a rookie that is so far ahead and he never makes the same mistake twice. And I wish I knew as much in my rookie year as he did with just the way he prepares and because of his film study and all of that. And Roquan was great as a rookie. You know what I mean? And so, and he's still saying that Malachi Starks, it's another level. So I almost wonder if there is a little bit of relief on his end to be like, okay, I don't have to be looking behind my shoulder, wondering if they're going to be in the right spots because I'm confident that this rookie will.
I hear you on that. And for good reason, if he does feel relieved based on some of the stress that he was under in the middle part of that defense with not a ton in terms of reliability behind him. The other, and just for time purposes, I'll just let you know what this next snippet is all about. Pretty simple. Aditi was like, hey, who's your most satisfying tackle in the AFC North division? And he said it was Joe Burrow. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow said it's him. Complimented his football play, complimented his mobility, said he's a lot more athletic than most believe, especially when it comes to his in-the-pocket escapability. So thought I'd throw that one in there. Burrow's been at the top of a lot of conversations this offseason, continues to be highly, highly, highly ranked in a lot of these grades that we've shared over the last couple of weeks. Obviously has a ton of respect within the division, within the league. But Roquan's most satisfying tackle, and I'm sure one that he hopes he can get at some point this season, is Joe Burrow.
Roquan Smith may have something in common with Shamar Stewart. That's a spoiler alert going forward, that he likes to tackle Joe Burrow. Perhaps his own teammate likes to also. We'll get to that video later. But maybe we'll get to super chats first before we get to some of the pressers from yesterday.
How about the tease? I mean, talk about it. All world type of tease right there. Coming up later on in the show. Thank you guys for being here on this Thursday. Over 1,100 of you with us at this moment. If you could like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, goes a long way in this channel's growth. And maybe you can consider becoming a channel member like Racine. Hopefully I didn't botch that. Racine has become our newest, or Racine. I got to think it's Racine or Racine has become our newest channel member. So appreciate you. You can also give membership as well, like Douglas H. Brown Sr. did at the top of the show, and his stuff is not populating right now. So Sarah, why don't you take Laura and then Steve while I go find where Douglas's is in the actual chat non-starred section. Here comes Laura, who's celebrating 1 month of channel.
By the way, I have access to Douglas, so I can grab those.
Okay.
Yeah. So Heather says, hey, Flock from...
Laura.
Oh, sorry. What did I say?
Heather.
Oh.
Does she look like a Heather to you?
No, I think I saw Heather elsewhere in the chat. My bad. But hi, Heather. And hi, Laura. She says, hey, Flock from the Villy.
Oh, from the Ville. From the Ville.
From the Ville. Here, let me get Douglas H. Brown here. He says, here's Douglas H. He says, my standard early program super chat to show my loyalty to the best duo in sports broadcasting. He is far too kind, including with another set of 5 gifts out to other Voltrons to make them members of the channel.
Thank you, Douglas. Appreciate you. And thanks to everybody here to start. Racine, Laura, Steve has become a channel member as well. Appreciate you, Steve. JCT Slice says, Bobby, the pure passer false narrative got to stop. The pure passer false narrative got to stop. Oh, the pure passer label that we discussed earlier in the week.
Yeah.
I think is what he's referring to.
We're
there.
actually going to touch on that again in a little bit. Just a small
Ravens fan 1973, a.k.a. John R. with a super sticker. Thanks, John. Douglas is back, and he says we need to start talking about
DeAndre.
We need to start talking about DeAndre. How many receptions will he get? We've talked about that a little bit. I'm sure there'll be plenty of time to get into Nuke more as the season approaches, Douglas.
Well, and he's been absent
Sarah.
from practice a little bit too. He wasn't there yesterday. I think he gets a few more vet days. So, yeah, but the Bowl says, great afternoon. Since we've canceled our joint practice with the Commanders, should we play a few starters in our last preseason game? Knock off the rust. If they were going to play starters, I would do it this game. I would not do it the final preseason game. I mean, even fewer guys. We're going to give this to the back end of the roster kind of day. We're going to let you guys put tape on to try to get the rest of the league to see you, or maybe make your last case to make our 53-man roster or our practice squad. You're going to make a great case to make the same rosters elsewhere. If they were going to do it, it would be this second preseason game, but John Harbaugh has already announced that won't happen.
James was kind enough to send along the pronunciation for our first channel member, and that is Racin. So just make sure I get that in there. Thanks, Racin. WT Edits says, man, I can't wait to see more of Mike Green, and football season is a-coming, and school is starting in a week for me. I cannot wait another second. Awesome. I can't wait to see how your fall semester unfolds. Will, right? It's Will? Hopefully I didn't totally just botch that. It's been a few weeks since he called into my personal channel, but I think it's Will. Don't quote me on that. Best of luck through fall semester and things getting off freshman year on the right foot. Dreams 37, a.k.a. Queon Sarah, for you.
Love you, Voltrons. A month away from the home opener, and I'm going to be live at the bank. Oof.
Oh, okay. You're going to Browns. You're going to week 2 in the Browns, looks like. Ivory Smith. Ivory says the Georgia connection. Roquan knows how Kirby prepares his players, especially on defense. Hashtag Philly Dogs, even from Alabama. Stark's going to be okay. And Sherry Ramirez checking in.
Yeah, she calls it her late fee. My late fee, LOL.
I believe she's been
better late than never.
Yeah, I believe she's been MIA for a little while, so hopefully everything's okay with you, Sherry. Great to have you back in live format. Dave says, this ought to be good. Dave says, Sarah looking and sounding awesome. Never age. Bobby with his mustache and all kinds of shiny scalp. So ready for the season. Oh, Dave, it's great to have you back. It's been a while that we received super chats from you. What are you, Are you a seasonal subscriber? Is that what you are, Dave? Rave in the super chat.
It's not enough to make you the battering ram. They try to make it here, I'll be nice to Sarah, and Bobby, we're going to be mean to you.
I know it. Why not?
Undeserved praise and undeserved jabs. Just funny stuff. Okay. Rave Kingdom says, people, reason for believing on Ben not working hard or lack thereof is they were there, so we have to believe them. Y'all won't believe Ben said I come to practice working hard. I won't rest till justice. All I know is I'm not seeing it, and all the people that do see it say the same thing. That's all I know, Rave.
My man is willing to die on multiple swords for Ben, and I guess I respect the hustle, even though
you gotta respect it, the loyalty.
Agree. It's Rave, you're the man. I don't know what's got you feeling so defiant about this topic, and you have been for months and months.
No, for over years. Yeah.
Hashtag Ben Cleveland.
But I do agree with them. I would have liked the right guard competition. If the left guard competition has been solved, why not just swing it over to the right guard? That's where I'm with Rave.
I think
that's where I'm going to try to meet him on the common ground.
I think everybody wants competition, especially when there's a weak point or an Achilles heel for a team that is so stout and dominant in just about every position group.
Yeah.
Or let's say solidified in every single position group. Can you think outside of kicker something that's more unsolidified. Is unsolidified a word? Than right guard. I mean, maybe inside linebacker, weak side, but outside of that, I can't think of it. Thanks, Rafe.
Okay, so let's get into some of the presser stuff from yesterday. First of all, running backs coach Willie Taggart was at the podium yesterday. He had a couple of good lines, okay? But for those that don't know, before he was a running backs coach, and I believe he's an assistant head coach. I think that's his title, assistant head coach here in Baltimore. He coached LeJohntay Wester in college. This is a fun little story, Bobby. So he was asked, hey, knowing that you have this background with LeJohntay, like, were you kind of feeling like, oh yeah, he'll show Baltimore who he is and what he's all about? So Willie says, well, I knew he was going to come in and impress people by the way he played, but I'll tell you what's cool. Earlier that day, LeJohntay and I were sitting in a meeting, and I asked him, what do you think about the city? What do you think about Baltimore so far? And he's like, Coach, I'm going to introduce myself to the city tonight. And Coach goes on to say, so when he got that punt return for a touchdown, Bobby, just for those that may have missed it, may have been under a rock. So when he got that punt return, I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. He says he spoke it into existence. That's what he does. That was pretty cool. And I think who else said it? Somebody else. It was Keaton Mitchell. Keaton Mitchell said that LeJohntay came up to him during the game and he's like, watch, I'm going to return this.
He did.
I love that, Bobby. I love that. You speak that into existence. You come in there with all the confidence in the world, because half the battle of punt returning is securing the ball first. Just securing the ball and then having the confidence to secure it maybe on the run is like another level. And then you got to have the speed and the field vision, maybe some moves to get down there. Like, to have that confidence is so needed at this position when the punters are purposely hanging the ball in the air so that you can give time for your coverage team to get down there and your gunners to get there. So you know the gunners are coming full speed. And you got to have one eye there. Should I fair catch it, or am I grabbing this? And the one that he caught it and returned it, it was a short punt. The confidence of LeJohntay is next level, and I love it because it's one of those that's just contagious.
If you've been following LeJohntay's career, you know why Coach Taggart isn't necessarily surprised by this. This is what he's been doing. And by the way, Willie Taggart went on to say, this guy was not heavily recruited coming out of Florida, the state of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
He was under-recruited, and Willie Taggart saw something in him. His staff at FAU saw something in him. And when I say he's been doing this, Sarah, this dude's the all-time leader at Florida Atlantic in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. He wasn't just a return specialist in college. And we saw that, sure, 2 reception sample size in week 1 against the Colts. But this is a player that was a dynamic offensive threat outside of special teams at FAU. And then he transferred to Colorado and had some success there with obviously a lot of playmaking talent around him and the limelight on Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, deservedly so. So this is a player that's got a pretty decorated resume in terms of production at the collegiate level. And he did what he said he would do. His first opportunity, which just excites you. And now the blueprint is laid, and now he gets to build off it and try and really, in a lot of our minds, he's already won this job. Now leave no room for doubt over the next couple of weeks. Should he get an opportunity? He may not. They might say, we've seen enough, man. We'll see you week 1, September 7th in Buffalo. But hopefully, selfishly, we get to see him a little bit more over the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely. And Willie Taggart, obviously, while he was at the mic, he was asked about all of his running backs. He talked about, obviously, the preparation and the seriousness with which Derrick Henry approaches the game. He talks about the unique talent that Keaton Mitchell brings to the game. And then he talks about Justice Hill, who, is always unheralded. He's just always kind of under the radar. And because you have Derrick Henry and because Keaton is so special and his speed does just jump off the screen when you're watching him. But I loved the way he described Justice Hill.
First of all, I've told you all before, I call him the junkyard dog because he does everything for us, and he does it at an elite level, and Justice knows his role and he plays his role to the best of his ability. He's been great, not just as a player, but as a teammate and bringing other guys along. I think he helped Derrick adjust last year when he came into a new team, and Justice was right there with him. I personally say he was a big part of helping Derrick with his success, and integrating with the team. So Justice he's what you're looking for in a football player and a teammate and all. And he's a heck of a football player. You saw last year, just when he got the ball, he made the best of the opportunities when they come, and that's what you want from guys is when that opportunity comes, you step up and take advantage of it. And Justice does that every single day. He takes pride, and that guy coming to work every day with a smile on his face. When I say every day, and it's great to be around.
You think you could get on board with that nickname, Junkyard Dog? Think that encapsulates who he is?
I think it's flattering, very flattering. It's Justice is, man, I think he said it best. He misses special teams, but he understands in his heart of heart that he's earned the right, Sarah, to not be on special teams. Yes. Like this guy has outlasted so many from the 2019 draft class, deservedly earned multiple extensions. You've seen his role expand over the years. You've seen him become such a savvy protector of Lamar Jackson in blitz pickup situations, a reliable runner in different situations, ridiculous cutting ability and lateral quickness in the screen game. Justice has been so much fun to watch. I love the fact that his career, he's got longevity to him. He's still involved in this core, right? He's one of the unsung core pieces of this team that's been around. When you think of the Lamars, the Ronnies, right, the Marks, he should be in that. He's not in that tier of publicity, but he should be in that conversation and at that table, because that's what he's meant to this team for years running. And mind you, he's built himself up back from an Achilles tear several years ago.
Yeah, he had his own share of injuries. And I didn't quite know, like when Willie was talking about how he helped Derrick Henry get acclimated to the Ravens. You don't know about that kind of stuff. You're not in there. You don't see it. And so good on him. And for sure, he always has a smile on his face. And you just know the type of guy he is when he says, like you mentioned, that he misses special teams. But what about another unheralded ability that he has, which is legitimately it's become elite blocking in the backfield to help protect Lamar Jackson?
I mean, it's obviously my size, my stature. That's what makes me a lead blocker. But no, I mean, it's just a want to, a will. Like, I just want to make sure that my guys are making the play, and it's as simple as that. Like, I just have the will to do it. And yeah, Keaton, I mean, he's coming along too in that aspect. I think a lot of times coming into college, that's like your first time really pass protecting, so you might not be the best at it. And then as you get more and more reps, like anything in life, you're going to get way better. And so, like for me, I mean, I've been doing it for a while, and each year I just try to continue to get better in that. And I really just focus on it as well. So whether we're doing an ACT walkthrough, try to make sure I'm practicing my technique, and then when it comes to full speed in the games, it's just kind of like I've been there before.
Yeah, Bobby, I do think that's underrated, learning how to do pass block protection, because you're trying to read where the blitz is coming from. And sometimes you might have to cross in front of your quarterback to go over there and be like, oh, the blitz is over there. I better run. They disguised it well, so I'm going to go over and I'm going to pick that up. And I will never, ever, ever forget that week 1 game against the Kansas City Chiefs when Justice Hill, he obviously was joking about how his elite pass blocking skills is due to his size and stature, okay? Remember when he was blocking one-on-one multiple times, Chris Jones of the Kansas City Chiefs, one of the better defensive linemen in the league, and absolutely towers over Justice Hill. And I loved the way Lamar recognized what was going on, because Lamar was helping out Justice as Justice was helping out Lamar. I'm thinking of the help me, help you line from Jerry Maguire. And so Lamar would like buy time and go by going back and forth in the pocket. And Lamar can do that. People talk about pocket presence. Don't forget about Lamar's pocket presence. One of the better ones in the NFL with how many touchdowns he threw from the pocket or yards and all that kind of stuff. But he'd move up, give Justice little time to kind of nudge, do what he could against Chris Jones. And then Chris Jones would finally break free and come up. So then Lamar would go back. And then so Justice would go up and get him and try to get in his way as he comes back to Lamar. And they just played this like cat and mouse game. And the chemistry there, we're talking about chemistry off the top of the show between Lamar and Bateman, which is obviously needed with your wide receivers. But how about just the way Justice and Lamar could work off of each other? So Justice Hill for sure does not get the credit he deserves. And I understand because of the just big names around him. But I love that guy. He's such a glue piece to this offense.
It's the will, right? It's just it's the will to be great. And that's what I think he channels a lot of his play from that, from within. And Sarah, I think the last thing I'll say about Justice in terms of his game that it makes it so exciting to watch is, like a foosball table, right? Like all of a sudden it's like a ping pong gets slingshot when he gets the ball and he's running through traffic and he's just bouncing off defenders.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally like, it reminds me of like a foosball table and whatever it is that you're playing with, like a ping pong ball or a soccer ball or whatever. That's the way he runs. He's so unbothered when he runs and he picks up these chunk yards and you think to yourself, how did he find space? How did he stay up on his feet? That's the beauty of Justice Hill, man.
He does. He moves the chains, Bobby. Like, sorry, now I got one more thing to say about him because we don't talk about him enough. No. But like him being on third down is so great, not only because of the pass protection, but because when he like leaks out and Lamar can do a check down to him, and it's like he gets it maybe at the line of scrimmage or maybe a yard ahead of line of scrimmage, and somehow, to your point, it's like, how does he always like move the chains? Like on that third down, he'll pick up the yards and move the chains because Keaton Mitchell is so fast. Like you forget how fast Justice Hill is. Dude's got like afterburners too. Like he just boom pops up and moves the chain. Sorry to interrupt you, but you got me excited there for a second.
It's not hard to get fired up. I mean, it's just Justice has this unique ability to. And here I go again, right? Like it's almost as if his body starts moving, which you can get yourself in trouble here when you take your eyes off the ball, if your body or your eyes start looking downfield before you actually secure the football. But it just seems as if he's already like in motion while the football's in the air and he hauls that thing in and it's on. And so it's just, I always think of the guy, chunk plays, a relentlessness, a drive. Now a great, what do you call him? A junkyard dog?
Junkyard dog, because he can do everything.
That's the perfect symbol of what he represents for this team, and he has been doing it since 2019. It's a great story, a great underdog story. I think he played his college football at Oklahoma State, and what was he? Was he a day 3 pick or a 3rd or 4th rounder? He was somewhere after, I want to say he was day 3, but awesome story nonetheless. Justice Hill continues to be an unsung player for this team. And you brought in an update from Harbaugh on Cooper Rush and his plans moving forward.
Yeah, just to kind of like highlight him, because obviously Cooper Rush is going up against his former team in the Dallas Cowboys. And the way he talks about it, and by the way, I don't know if you caught the press conference, he for sure is just businesslike. He gives very monetary. I remember thinking that when he first was signed. I think this is the first time he's spoken at podium since he was signed. Like he just is like all about his business. Like getting in there, fine. I need to talk. I will talk. I will answer your questions. I'm not going to be long-winded. I'm not going to be like dynamic. I'm just going to like do my job here. But he said that he did have options, right? And he'd considered returning to Dallas, and then Baltimore called. He's like, oh, Baltimore. He's like, okay, that's a good team. That could be fun. And so he obviously didn't have the best first impression in that first preseason game. He also had limited sacks. Both you and I are on the same pit, or excuse me, he had limited snaps, not sacks. He was out there very briefly. John Harbaugh said that he will get more extensive time this upcoming week. So I'm excited to see that because I want to know what we have in this backup, but I'm willing to be patient with him because He is about 500 or just above 500 when he has to start, which is exactly what I've been asking for in terms of a backup for Lamar Jackson. So despite that early first preseason game not being great on the small sample size, I do feel like the reports coming out of camp are getting better and better as he gets acclimated to this brand new offense. And here's what John had to say about him. He said, Cooper Rush is a pro. He operates the offense well, makes great decisions, handles the protections, gets the ball out on time, accurate passer. I think he's a winning quarterback. I think that's the right term for him, right? Just winning quarterback. John goes on to say it's pretty hard to stack quarterbacks up next to Lamar Jackson, but we do that. We always make those comparisons. But the important thing for Cooper is to be Cooper and do the things that he does so well, win games playing that way. I think he's had a really good camp. So, Bobby, I'm excited for his second chance, his second impression. Sometimes we don't get a chance to make a second impression. We'll get one this week. I want to see the guy that John Harbaugh is describing here. I want to see the guy that who played that way when he started for Dallas. I think we want to see it, and something tells me that we just might this upcoming Saturday night.
No, he would downplay it as he did yesterday, but chance to go up against your former team, you'd have to think means something, even if you're not going to lean into that during your press conference. So that game's coming up on Saturday, and then the Commanders is next week. That joint practice, as we mentioned earlier on the stream, is no longer. It's been canceled due to logistical inconvenience. So that's that. This is now Asmodeus Thanatos, a.k.a. Richard, has become our newest channel member. Appreciate you, Richard. And JCT Slice says, Sarah, media acts like quarterbacks need to win alone. That's why it's like when the quarterback stat that is wins is like the be-all, end-all for some when it comes to analyzing that quarterback's like skill set. To me, it's always like, well, no, there's more to it. There's more to the story than just quarterback wins. So JCT Slice, super chat for you.
There we go. David Cool. He says, can we all agree that Leary is truly pathetic? I don't want to be that hard on Leary, but certainly don't see him making the 53-man roster. And I would be interested in looking at other quarterbacks that could be cut maybe in the upcoming weeks. So, but I don't want to call him that. I think we all saw the same thing. I don't know that we need to bury him.
How about this instead? Do we all agree that David has just come out of the woodwork after 6+ months of being MIA in our chat? Okay. Yes. There's a hand of one so far. I know I can agree with what I just stated. Does anybody else agree? David, welcome back. It's so good to have you.
I'm glad he's back. We missed you, David. We like your spicy commentary.
We missed you terribly. Thank you guys for being with us on this Thursday. Over 1,200 concurrents at the moment. If you could like the video, it goes a long way for channel growth. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. Consider becoming a channel member. Consider gift giving membership. Go check out thevaultpod.com/shop. It's our new apparel line. And before we pull up this next episode, or I should say this next version of the episode, our new segment and our latest segment, let's get our patrons in here. Imzaso and Douglas, thank you both for believing in what we're building. This is your monthly shout out because of the support that you give us through Patreon. Patreon.com/RavensVault podcast is where you guys can learn more if you'd like to become part of that community like Imzaso and Douglas. So thank you both. And thanks everybody for being here today.
Bobby, I'm trying to bring in the newest version of our slides because we added a couple things before we had brought it in just for our next topic. So just letting those.
Let me take care of that.
Oh, you know what? It's just processing. It's coming in now. I just got a tweet from Lacey DaCosta. I'll read that. I just got a message from her, which was very nice. I'm going to read it as a one more thing after quick hits.
I just saw it pop up on my timeline, which was super cool. She's
super sweet.
Lacey's the best. Lacey listens and Lacey subscribes, and she was just like I said the other day. She was just on her way up to Western New York for a college visit for one of her sons, and was kind enough to reach out to say thanks for the shout out. I'm like, I wasn't even sure if you'd be listening, but she just so happened to be. She's in mid-season form, so hopefully
the fact that she's listening all the way up till one more thing makes me happy inside for sure. Because you know that's like a 90-minute, sometimes a 2-hour episode when we get to one more thing.
God bless her. Thanks to the whole DaCosta crew. I think some of them are probably just in the car, right, thinking like, all right, do we have to listen to all 90 minutes? But she's so loyal that she does. So thanks to the whole crew.
Well, before we get to that, let's discuss this. 2 days ago, the Athletic Mike Sando, MVP voter, had released his results of the poll he took with 50 executives who put quarterbacks in tiers. We're not going to revisit the whole thing, but for the first time ever, Lamar Jackson finally was in tier 1. I believe he got 47 votes for tier 1, so it wasn't unanimous. The only 2 unanimous people were Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. We don't need to go down that rabbit hole again, but Lamar was not unanimous, but he finally was tier 1. So Mike Sando was on with our friend. I almost called him Chuck Clark, but that is a former safety. Forgive me, Glenn Clark. Forgive me, sir. But Mike Sando went on the Glenn Clark show to talk about the executives and people that he spoke to. And he was being asked about why it took so long for Lamar to hit tier 1. And that's where his infamous phrase comes in. He called them QB snobs, calling those out that wouldn't put Lamar in tier 1.
Oh, it's great to be here. I'm not wearing my bulletproof vest that I've had to wear in the past. That's the messenger of how in the heck is Lamar Jackson not in tier 1? He didn't just sneak into tier 1. I mean, he just almost unanimous. So I think it was time. I think it's, we're past the point of him holding the team back in the playoffs or having questions about his game. I mean, what more is there to do for him except, get a little deeper in the playoffs, which is hard to do in the AFC last time I checked.
Yeah, there's no doubt that that's true, and obviously it's the same problem that sort of faces some of the other quarterbacks that are in tier 1. There is their inability to win a Super Bowl.
Well, here's what it is. So Josh Allen got 3 tier 2 votes too. So what is that? What does Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have in common? Right? It's a little bit more reliance on their legs, and I think that there are some QB snobs, who really still put so much emphasis on the ability to pass when you have to throw the ball. They see Josh Allen has some one-off games. I think he had a 9 for 30 game last year
against the Ravens. Yes.
Yeah, didn't he have it against Houston too? I can't remember. He had a bad game, but I think that's what it is. I think there's at least one ballot where Burrow and Mahomes were the only tier 1 guys on the ballot. And you get some other people that have 6 or 7 tier 1s on the ballot. It all evens out. To me, what was most impressive about Lamar Jackson last year, and what was totally different about anything he's done before, is that, they were winning games with the bad defense and bad special teams. Now, they got better late in the year, but to me, that's a huge test for quarterbacks. I think it's really hard to do. It's rare. Patrick Mahomes is one of the few quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl without having a top defense. So I think that's where Lamar Jackson gained in certainly in my view of what he's been able to do, because they've always been so good on defense and special teams. It's an easier game to win.
So it's exactly what we thought. Here's what makes me happy, Bobby. He said right there, Mike Sando said right there, some of the things we've been saying on our show for quite some time, but other national media don't listen to the Vault. They do listen to each other, especially somebody who has the cachet of an MVP voter. And so I hope more national media hear the messaging from Mike Sando right there, where he called them QB snobs. Why? Because they obsessively emphasize only passing on, say, 39 situations. And that's what they're calling pure passers, pure pocket passers. And it just, I don't understand how they can't see how having more options is better. I didn't pull this clip, but later on in this interview, Mike Sando said to Glenn Clark that the reason why being able to run in the past has been used against quarterbacks, it's only because it's when quarterbacks use running as a crutch. they use the running as a crutch and are trying to compensate for not being able to pass. And when you use running as a crutch, it shrinks your career. At least it has for other quarterbacks, which is why it's so nice to see Lamar with Todd Monken giving him the opportunity to do things he's already been capable of doing, to pass more. Because for Lamar, running is a superpower, but it's not a crutch. And so what I want these NFL executives that he's calling QB snobs to understand is that when you're 3rd and 9, yes, Lamar Jackson can be the pure pocket passer that you're drooling over. He can be that. But if something breaks down, he has second play ability that's number 1 in the league. It might be number 1 all time. His second. So to be able to say, hey, I've got a quarterback who can give me a second chance if things break down or if things are covered or if things don't go the way they want. And that second play ability could manifest itself in several ways. It could be what I just described, what he was doing with Justice Hill against Chris Jones, where he's like moving up and down in the pocket and buying more time. We've seen that over and over again. The Isaiah Likely catch against the Jaguars come to mind, or when he stiff arms, I think it was Sam Hubbard, and finds Isaiah in the end zone again. The fact that he can buy a second play by either moving around in the pocket or by taking off and running, why isn't that infinitely more valuable than somebody who doesn't have that ability? That makes no sense to me. And so I'm happy to hear somebody with the cachet of Mike Sando say, hey, that's QB snobbery.
I hope his phrase also refers to those who just can't fathom that Lamar Jackson and the style that he plays the game of football with has evolved into the passer that he has, right? Can't fathom it, can't acknowledge it, and knock him because of it in a lot of these tiers that they have votes for. Like, I hope quarterback snobs refers to those folks as well, and maybe that's what he's getting at here with where you were at as well, combining those two, because to me, in my mind, that's what a snob would consist of, and I think the phrase absolutely exists. We've covered it extensively throughout this offseason and in years past as well. It continues to follow Lamar. He doesn't care, nor should he, but we do, and that's why we're covering it.
Bobby, I hate to leave you high and dry. The ambulance is in front of my house. I've mentioned before that we've had some health issues with my in-laws. So I'm going to step out for just a second, make sure that everything's okay. I've got 2 more just to help you out. I've got 2 more clips from Mike Sando. One, he's talking about how the difference in Lamar's regular season game versus playoff game, it used to be a wide gulf. It's gotten better. And then he talks about the weapons around Lamar that they've gotten him and how maybe for like Mahomes, you've seen him have less weapons. So I'm going to step out for a second. Just want to make sure everything is okay. And I will be back. I'm sorry to leave you high and dry.
Nope. Take as long time as you need. Yep. Sounds good.
Yes, but I've done this research, and now this has changed the last couple of years. Lamar hasn't been what held them back to the playoffs the last couple of years. Before that, though, the gap between regular season and postseason, just sort of statistical production for these quarterbacks, Lamar's was huge, bigger than the other ones. Now, Josh Allen, obviously very early in his career, had the horrific game at Houston, but I think he's had better ones since then, and has actually done fairly well individually. I feel like Lamar didn't for a while, and now the last couple of years he's been fine. But I think I don't think it was exaggerated for him, because I think he was so much different production-wise in the playoffs for a while.
Yeah. And the numbers bear that out now too, right? Like, now national folks like Mike are catching on to what we all know, and that is Lamar still maybe hasn't had that signature full 4-quarter game in the month of January that he's had countless times in the regular season, but he has had halves, right? He has had moments, and it's only a matter of time until he puts it together collectively for a full game. But this idea that Lamar hasn't shown up in the postseason, that's tired. That's old. He has. And when the game was on the line, we all knew and know how he responded this past January in the elements, mind you, in Western New York. So another one from Mike Sando here before we wrap up the segment.
wonder too, it was an interesting comment that was made about Lamar in the fact that, like, finally it seems like the Ravens have put together a more representative group of pass catchers and offensive weapons around him. And maybe it's interesting to me too because you see Pat Mahomes no longer the definitive solo number one. I just wonder if maybe we don't realize it until we see what players are able to do around them when they're a bit more representative.
Yeah, and also they changed their offense, too, which I think was a component of Lamar emerging and showing he could do what he hadn't always been asked to do earlier, even if we saw glimpses of it. So, yes, I've always felt like for quarterbacks, there's a baseline level of weaponry required to succeed, and we've seen over the years, even Tom Brady when he would lose Gronkowski, or Edelman or both, it could look really tough for a while. And I think Mahomes has been dealing with that a little bit as Travis Kelce's gotten older. Just dynamically, and Lamar's always had, through himself and now through Derrick Henry, and just the DNA of the head coach, the run game has always been prioritized, except for that one game in the playoffs that we're forgetting about a couple years ago where they kicked themselves.
Yes.
But that component of being able to run the ball and having it in your DNA to run the ball, in addition to doing all the things Lamar can do, very tough combination. I don't feel that with the Chiefs. I feel like Andy Reid over his career has just wanted to throw the ball and has to talk himself in to remind himself to run it, right? And I think that probably makes it somewhat tougher for Mahomes.
Hey, before we react, all good in the hood?
I think my mother-in-law is on the way to the hospital, but I think more than anything, I mean, they have it all under control. My father-in-law is out there, and then the ambulance medics are out there, so they've got her all under control. So I think they're going to head to the hospital, and I just needed to calm my girls a little bit. And I think my father-in-law is going to follow them out there to the hospital. So I will check in on them after the show. But I think right now it's just a matter of just staying out of their way while the ambulance kind of does their thing. So,
all right. I can take it from here if you need be at any time. So just let me know.
I think we're okay. I think my girls seem to be okay. And I think I would just be in the way at this point. So,
all right.
Yeah. Thanks for checking.
We're wrapping up here shortly, but those last two clips, you set them up. One was about the postseason and like this old narrative that still exists for whatever reason in terms of what Lamar was instead of what he is, which is somebody that's starting to stack. Has he not had that signature game yet? I don't think he's had a signature game. He's had a signature second half. He's had signature quarters, signature moments, but he's still waiting on that full 4-quarter performance. And then just like you said there, like back in the day when Brady would be without Gronk or without Edelman or Mahomes without, he's had some pretty good health throughout his run in terms of the playmaking around him. I guess they have been banged up though in a couple Super Bowls now that I've thought about it, but they just find a way. And Lamar found a way when it counted, Sarah, last year without his top 2 wide receivers and found a way to somehow put together what could have been a game-tying drive, when it mattered the most against Buffalo. So good stuff there from Sando. Was there anything else that you wanted to react to?
Well, just I think, and this is Sod Blitz who made this graphic for us, right? He took the work, the numbers we had put together and put it in a nice graphic. But Mike Sando, did you already show this while I was out?
No, and shout out Sod to your point. This was through the Discord server that he threw this graphic on there. And look, he even threw the vault graphic on the bottom left-hand side of it. So shout out Sod Blitz.
Yeah, appreciate you, Sod. But I love that Mike Sando has independently come to the same conclusion that I've done with my research. And I'm sure many other Ravens fans, I'm sure Mike and myself are not the only ones, but Mike talked about the difference between Lamar's play in the regular season and the postseason and how it used to be like this wide gulf. He'd be like sensational during the regular season and then, the opposite in the regular season. And while I still feel like Lamar's hasn't played like his best game in the playoffs, I don't think right. Like that would be like a Jackson 5 or something like that. Although you're not going to get that against playoff defenses. Right. But I don't think we've seen Lamar Jackson's best game in the playoffs. That being said, his playoff performances from I'll just say it, they like the Greg Roman years, 2019 to 2022, versus what they are in the Todd Monken years are drastically different. 1-3 with Roman, 2-2 with Todd Monken. Touchdowns 3-7, interceptions 5-2, pass yards 900 to 853. Completion percentage, 55.9 to 66.7. Quarterback rating, I mean, this just jumps massively, 68.3 to 105.8. And then the fumbles and lost, so 5 fumbles, 2 lost with Roman, 2 fumbles, and then 2 lost with Todd Monken. I'd say that's the area where Lamar's still in the Todd Monken area. We want 0 fumbles. He'll be the first to say that. But I'm glad that Mike Sando, hopefully his voice will help turn the tide on the narrative with Lamar. Yes, he can still play his best game in the playoffs, but let's not pretend that this is still 2019.
Great stuff. Awesome stuff. That was all courtesy of the Glenn Clark radio show, like Sarah mentioned, at least from the Mike Sando segments. So you can go check that out in full on the Glenn Clark radio YouTube program. With that, shall we get some quick hits in here, super chats, and bounce?
That's right.
All right, let's do it. Let's start with quick hits here and some things that are outside of Ravens operations, but in this case, a former Raven and a 3-time Pro Bowler, Odell Beckham Jr., has drawn interest from several teams. Plans to play in 2025, according to Pelissero. Odell, I think the fake Adam Schefter account got some run this week, Sarah, because there was a scam saying that Odell was retiring. And it got enough run that Odell posted about it. And it was like, hey, I'm not retiring. He's continuing to train in anticipation of being on the field soon. So hard to believe that he's still got it. Really has not gotten a lot of opportunities over the last couple of years in terms of games, reps, health. A lot of that all has to do with health, by the way. And in this case, maybe a lack of interest because he still remains unsigned at this point in the process. But perhaps OBJ, there will be a team. Maybe there some teams waiting for injury.
Yep.
But OBJ is still out there on the open market available.
This definitely feels like an agent-fueled tweet given to Tom Pelissero, just trying to drum up some interest for his client. So they're doing his job, but it's obvious that Odell is not ready to retire. And for those that are asking, no, I do not see the Ravens picking him up unless there's an injury. And then maybe we'll have the 2 quarterbacks that Lamar inquired about during his contract negotiations, in both Odell Beckham and DeAndre Hopkins. But until then, I think the Ravens are solid with their top 3. I think that DeAndre Hopkins at this point is a better wide receiver than Odell Beckham Jr. is. And then the Ravens have some up and coming talent that they're obviously going to want to give, are already not going to get a lot of reps, but want to give the few that they can to them, such as Devontae Walker and others. And so unless there's an injury, I do not see him returning to Baltimore.
I know he and Aaron Rodgers have an affinity for one another, and it's the OG land in Steelers country. So why not? Who knows? I know both those guys have expressed interest in the past for playing together. Maybe he winds up in the division. Elsewhere in that AFC North, this is from Schefter and a number of others who tweeted that Shedeur Sanders suffered an oblique injury while throwing during the early portion of practice earlier this week. He was held out for the rest of the session. And the one update, Sarah, just within the last few hours on this, and not specifically this, but indirectly tied into this, is that Dylan Gabriel, their other rookie and their other quarterback who's been dealing with a hamstring setback, is expected to go and play preseason football for them in week 2. So looks like they're going to get a good look at another one of their rookies. Joe Flacco continues to sit, being that he is your projected first-string starter in week 1 of regular season play. So they need to get a look at these guys, and it looks like, unfortunately for Shedeur, who lit it up in week 1, at least statistically speaking, they're going to have a chance for Dylan Gabriel to get his shot.
Bobby, it definitely seems like we're headed to a repeat of last year, where the Browns they had so many quarterbacks on their roster that right before they were making their roster cuts, they were trying to drum up interest to trade one of them, and the rest of the league just stood pat, and then they ended up having to cut. Who did they cut? Do you remember?
It was Snoop, wasn't it?
Was it Snoop? Oh, yeah, and then Snoop went over to Miami at that point. So, listen, they're going to try to put some guys on the trading block again. It's not going to be Shedeur Sanders. I can promise you that. Not after the way he played in that first preseason game. And I highly doubt it'd be Gabriel, and I'm sure they're going to want their veteran in Flacco. And so are they going to be trying to trade Kenny Pickett? It's kind of where my mind's at right now in the next couple of weeks. Could that be going down?
Be a surprise to see Pickett on the 53-man roster with 2 rookies, with your sure thing and Joe in terms of like who you want as at least your projected starter to begin this season.
Right.
And then the crazy, the wild part that not a lot of people are talking about, at least in the Twitter sphere, is that at some point Deshaun Watson's going to be cleared and they're going to have a decision to make on him. And if all of a sudden he can become available physically, it's going to get really, really even more dramatic in Cleveland land. How about this interesting wrinkle in the Rasheed Rice ongoing saga? He is the, second-year player now? I think he's a second-year player, Chiefs wide receiver. He's expected to have his disciplinary hearing with the NFL on Tuesday, September 30th in New York. What that means is this: he can now likely play the first 4 weeks of the season, meaning the Ravens, if that ends up being the case, would have a chance to match up with him. Now, Schefter goes on to say that's obviously before any potential discipline is imposed, and you got to go back to the 2024 offseason where he was directly involved in a multi-car crash in Dallas, operating at ridiculous speed. So, 1, this feels wrong. 2, it's going to affect the Ravens and the 3 other teams that the Chiefs are expected, or that they will match up with over the first 4 weeks of the season. And 3, this just came out this morning, so it's breaking news.
Yeah. So that's interesting because I was definitely thinking maybe Rasheed Rice wouldn't be good to go against the Ravens. So let's do this. Let's have everybody's full rosters. Let's do it. Let's have everybody healthy and on the field, and let's go. And by the way, Rasheed Rice is going into his 3rd year.
Thank you.
His 3rd year.
3rd-year player, lit it up his rookie season, was limited to just 4 games last year. So anyway, that's just might be one of those weird legal things that gives him the opportunity to play, even though likely, very likely, when you read into this, he will face a suspension at some point. We talked about this earlier on between the Ravens and Commanders, the joint practice that's now canceled because of logistical concerns and a short week and a quick turnaround for the Ravens, who will be traveling back from Dallas. And then you brought this in of King and Lamar anticipating year 2 together as teammates.
Yeah, just the King posting a picture of Lamar handing it off to him, and they have the time the time emoji, like
hourglass, baby.
Hourglass. Thank you. Hourglass emoji. So that's looking good. And then Bobby, earlier in the show, I teased because Roquan Smith told the CBS that the quarterback he most likes to sack in the AFC North is Joe Burrow. And I teased that him and rookie pass rusher of the Bengals may have something in common because Shamar Stewart, I think it was on accident, but we need the audio on it just so you know, because there is a news report kind of explaining what goes down from a local station in Cincinnati. Shamar Stewart runs into his own quarterback.
See number 97, Shamar Stewart, rushing from the left side of your screen. The circle is around him. He shoots the A gap, which is wide open, but you see he stumbles a little bit, may have received a shove, ends up in Joe Burrow's face. Now the video follows the ball, but quarterback Joe Burrow ended up on the ground. Watch the reaction from linebacker number 44, Demetrius Knight Jr. Hands to the head, obvious concern. Joe Burrow got up, he was okay, but just a few plays later, a fight broke out between the offense and defense.
Ooh, his own defensive teammates were like, bro, like that's our QB. What are you doing? Now, look, I mean, he does kind of stumble, I guess. Is he pushed into him?
Yeah.
I don't really.
Well, there's a lot of contact there. I mean, first of all, he's losing his balance, right? We can all agree there. He's losing his balance.
Sure.
Whether or not the push is there, we got to go. Hold on. We got to go big screen here.
Yeah, let's go big screen.
Whether or not he gets pushed,
he's got. No, there's a guy trying to stop him from going to Joe, but I don't think he's pushed into him. There's a guy in front of him that's running a route. It looks like he could have, but he's not. He's running a route.
Yeah, this looks like just simple momentum, right? Balance,
Yeah.
momentum. I don't think anything there from
No,
6.
it wasn't like it was on purpose, but I
Yeah.
don't think he was really shoved into him either. But
No.
watch his teammate, hands to the head.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Bruh. Look at the other guys back there doing it too. Like,
Well,
it's
'cause
like, bruh.
probably all he could see was Burrow on the ground, and that's their ticket.
Yep.
Like Lamar's
That's
Baltimore's ticket.
yeah. I mean, could you imagine if Mike Green like knocked Lamar down? It's like, bruh,
Yeah.
chill a little bit.
I don't know why that got as much pub as it did. Did that get pub when you saw it?
It got a lot of pub, and I think the reason why is because even though that video doesn't show him falling, there were like lots of reports from people who were there and saw him get knocked down, and it was like overall a bad day for the offensive line. But then some of the offensive linemen also said that they had to take care of some things, like they were alluding like that in part that fight broke out to like maybe send a message. So I think it wasn't the video alone, but it was like those who were in attendance plus the commentary from the locker room afterwards.
Gotcha. A lot of build up there. And if it's Shamar Stewart's there, you know it's going to be talked about after his offseason.
That's right.
Douglas H. Brown Sr. is back, and this was going back from about, 20 minutes ago or so. Richard gave us a super chat, and Douglas said, I was thinking the same thing, Bobby. Where has Asmodeus been? But I think he's actually referring to David, because that's who I was calling out for being MIA, who's now showed up in the form of multiple super chats. We're glad he's here. Richard, I guess, has been quiet, but he's still in the live chat, and he's still pretty consistent. So anyway, it's good to have everybody here at all times. What I say, Junior, Sarah, for you?
He said Rasheed Rice's hearing gets pushed back to September 30th, and he can't play until then. That doesn't smell right. It really doesn't. Like, I thought if it was pushed back then it'd be like, okay, well, you have to wait then. Sorry. It's not that
Right.
it doesn't smell right. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, saying it doesn't smell right implies that there's something like obviously fishy or nefarious going on. I just don't, more than anything, it just doesn't make sense to me.
And what I say, Junior said, and he can play until then. And he just went to clarify
Yeah.
with autocorrect. Appreciate you. Football is reality. Now I got it. It's James L. Green, JL Green, baby. Appreciate you. Fantasy is Reality 67 says our Ravens are fine. Hope the family's okay, Sarah. And you
Appreciate
keep looking
it.
out. Everything good?
Yeah, well, the ambulance just took off with her. So my mother-in-law's in the back of the audience.
Oh, wow.
Ambulance,
That
and
was a
so
while.
they've got her. Yeah.
Okay. They secured her then, and we're about to finish up here so you can
Yeah.
tend to your kids and everything else that is going on right now. Richard says, and here he is, Asmodeus says the Steelers should be the Rusters with how geriatric their team is. Is it geriatric? The Steelers should be the Rusters with how geriatric their team is. Good one, Richard. God King, Sarah, for you.
What's going on in Cleveland that all their QBs get hurt? Is there another one, did you say?
Well, everybody's dealing with something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what we kind of addressed this a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
But
Sorry, I was looking out the window.
sure, no, it's okay. I was just telling that to God King. I mean, I think it sure seems like it's going to be Dylan Gabriel's game in week 2, and they'll hold back Shador. Pickett's dealing with his own hamstring. Deshaun's not been cleared yet. Is Snoop hurt? I mean, it's a carousel. It feels like they have a starting offensive line in terms of how many quarterbacks they have. Isn't it 6?
There's
Let's
a
count
lot.
them. Deshaun, Pickett, Snoop, Shador, Dylan, Flacco. That's 6 quarterbacks. Insane. 6 of those and 10 of these. DJP.
There
Devin
we go.
Pierre has gifted 10 Voltron channel memberships. Appreciate you, Devin. Thanks for the support, my brother. And look who matched him, Sarah. I'll let you take this one.
Douglas H. Brown, as usual, matching it up with another 10, coming in strong at the end of this show. All the generosity starting to kick in here. Appreciate you guys.
Let's give a quick update in terms of where we were prior to the show. We had a 1,003 channel members, so we've sustained that number over 1,000 for a few days now, which is pretty impressive. That can only mean one thing, Sarah. I think that people are renewing.
Yeah.
People are renewing, and just to kind of catch you guys up to speed, DJP threw in another 5, so you already know who's probably going to match that. You don't have to, Douglas, but thank you to Devin. Thank you to Douglas. Thanks to all of our new channel members as well who just signed up for new channel membership, like Asmodeus. And Laura was celebrating 1 month of channel membership, meaning she renewed. Steve became a new member. Racine became a new channel member. So thanks to all of you for all the support. And thanks to those of you who are renewing too, because when you randomly get a gift and you decide to renew it, that's just really kind of keeps this thing going. So thanks to everybody. And sure enough, Sarah, here you come. Douglas H. Brown Sr. has matched DJP's gift. Thank you both. That's well over 1,000 now. And I wanted to go back, Sarah, to 1:09 p.m. when Jason Freeman let everybody know that he finally got a job. So we wanted to shout out Jason for his new employment.
There you go, Jason. I'm curious what it is.
Let us know, Jason, if you'd like to. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. And Steve just says, after becoming a channel member, thanks for the show. Been helpful to ramp up on the Ravens. That Sarah, I think we're going to probably see a lot of that over the next couple of weeks, folks. And I don't mean any negative connotation about coming out of the woodwork, meaning you haven't been with us at all this offseason. We get people have lives, particularly during live weekdays at noon. So we get it. But it's also really nice and exciting when people come back to live format and once season begins.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Do we have any more quick hits, or we go to one more thing?
Well, I keep getting corrected on Racine. Apparently it's Racine is how the 51 tells me that this all the way back earlier on, our first channel member is pronounced. I think we're going to have to hear from the man himself.
The E at the end does make the I a long I, so that makes sense. Racine. Okay.
All right.
If it was no E, it'd be racin, I would think. Racine.
Let's see it. Raisin. Okay. AI overview pronunciation guide tells me it's raisin, but who knows? We'll wait to hear from the man himself. We appreciate all of you guys for being here. And what was that, Sarah, that you just said?
What? One more thing?
Do you have anything?
Oh, yeah. So I was going to read the EDC or Mrs. EDC. Yeah, Mrs. EDC. Well, oh, shoot. Oh, good. Here it is. I was like, I lost it. Yeah. So if you weren't here yesterday, I just went on a long rant that was probably inspired by being up way too late, picking up my son and husband from the airport. And I was up at like 1 a.m. at the Columbus airport. And I saw a video that probably was too cheesy for our audience, but spoke to me. Anyway, the chat for sure was cooking me. So I appreciate Mrs. EDC giving me encouragement because at least she liked it. She said, at SG Ellison, I love one more thing on the latest episode. I can so relate. You are one of the best moms I know. True role model, heart emoji, and another hand heart emoji. So I'm definitely not one of the best moms she knows. I'm sure there are a gazillion better than me, but I do love being a mom. I do love that. And I think that was just kind of the point yesterday. And I also
on top of that, Sarah, too, we had a lot of people reach out to us through different outlets, whether it was the comment section of that YouTube video.
Oh, I didn't read the comments, so that's good to know.
At least one email. I know my mom and I had a nice conversation over it. I sent her a nice little screenshot today of somebody in our YouTube comment section who left us a really sweet message. She wrote, Carol Brown said, "Oh, Bobby, oh, Bobby." And whenever an older person, I'm not saying, who knows, Carol, I have no idea how old you are because all I can see is your dog and your profile photo. But whenever I think of, "Oh, Bobby," first of all, I think of my grandmother. She would say something like that. So Carol says, "Oh, Bobby, I love how you choose to spend and cherish time with your mom. My boys are so busy to make time, and I'm physically limited to travel to see them out of state. Sarah, what a fantastic mom you are." Aww. I sent that to my mom this morning. She was glowing. And so I think your segment, while at the time, right off the top, the live chat may have been cooking you, and you know how I feel about that. I think it actually aged pretty well, and I'm glad you brought it up yesterday.
Good. Yeah, I think that maybe it got turned around by the end, but it's all the cooking is all in good fun. I know the people that were cooking me are here every day, and I know they like to have fun with us. So there was no bad feelings on my part. And so I also just wanted to say thank you to the chat. Obviously, everybody concerned about my family over here. I think everybody is in good hands right now. And so everybody was trying to tell me to go. And I was like, well, I would just be in the way. I mean, really, you just get in the way. So, but I will attend to them. And, but I appreciate everybody's love and prayers, as this has just kind of been going on live. This is the what's the word I'm looking for? The possibility of what can happen when you do a live show every day from home.
When
you guys get to know me better than I probably would have allowed otherwise.
Yeah. When life fits into like real time, this is all happening in real time. So
yeah,
definitely thinking of your mother-in-law, and now hopefully she's in good hands.
For sure.
Let's get caught up on super chats before we jump. DJP is celebrating 2 months of channel membership, and boy, has he been super generous over the last couple months this summer. Devin writes, been a last 2 weeks with my daughter starting school and my baby boy about to make his entrance. So just wanted to say you guys are great. Keep going. Awesome. That's right. Okay, so they're expecting.
I remember him telling us that. And it's like, what is it? Like his 4th child, I think he said. Something like that.
DJP, hope Mrs. is doing well, and you guys are excited to bring in your new human. Are you getting surprised? Okay, baby boy, your new son on deck. And man, is he feeling wholesome and generous. It's a 10 spot for DJP on top of the 15 that he's already gifted. 10 new channel Voltrons are now official status. So thank you, DJP. And again, best wishes to you and your family as you get ready to welcome your son. Tila Sarah is celebrating 3 months of channel membership, and it looks like it's going to get a little bittersweet for her.
Oh, man. Then that video probably yesterday might have spoken to Tila, because she said, this is why I said I wanted to pause time. She said, drop my son off at college on Tuesday. It tore me up, but I love being a mom. Heart emoji. Oh, I'm a couple years away from that, and I know it'll tear me up too.
Well, I'll tell you what, I just so happened to be looking in the live chat yesterday, and Tila, I don't think there was any dry eye on her end during your segment, and maybe that was the reason why. So best of luck to your son, Tila, and, best of luck to you. I'm sure it's going to be over the next couple of weeks, just a transition for you.
It
but
really
we're
is.
rooting for him. We're rooting for you.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off, especially as you're saying that we're rooting for them. Man, I really got to get better at that. But but what was I going to say? Shoot, I interrupted you and I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, it's an interesting dichotomy as a parent where it's like you realize in the later years, like, because when people think about becoming a parent before they have kids, they almost exclusively think about infants and toddlers. And then you forget that they like grow up. And like, for me, I really enjoyed the infant years, but for me, it's like awesome as like teenagers. Oh my gosh, I love it. But then you realize along the way, you're like, wait a minute, I'm teaching them and helping grow them and doing everything I can to put all resources into them, only for them to leave. And it changes from like, it switches from like, you're supposed to protect them nonstop. And then somewhere in there, it switches to prepare them so that they no longer need you. You know what I mean? And so it's just weird how all parents kind of have to go through that transition of like protect 24/7. Oh no, now it's like, I need to prepare you to be without me. And like, and the older they get, to me, like the more fun and awesome it gets. And it's like, dang, you're leaving now that we're like, cool. That's why I love that you go back and visit your mom so much, and stay with her and all that. So she can enjoy you as an adult also, not just as a kid.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying yesterday, I just cherish the time that I have here. So
yeah. And
she's going to be coming down. She just booked her flights to come on down Ravens bye week. I'm going to spend it this year. You guys know that have been following the show for a while. You know that that's one of my weeks that I take off. You typically take off a spring break type thing with your kids after the draft or before the draft, depending on the year. And I typically am a bye week guy. And so no exception this year. I'm going to Banff, Canada, going to do some national parks in October. And it's the earliest bye week that I've ever been a part of since I started covering this team. So I'm really excited to kind of, as great as Europe tends to be during the month of October, Banff is just next level when you start to research Banff,
Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
I
really excited.
looked it up after you told me. It was
Oh.
gorgeous. I could see myself going there also someday.
Yeah. Well, I'll lay out the blueprint if that ends up being the case, help you out with your itinerary. But
Sure.
where I went with that was that she's coming down to watch Tilly for me and then extending her stay afterwards because she has a wedding in San Antonio. Why fly all the way back to upstate New York when you have to get to Texas?
Sure.
And so we're going to spend some time together. It's not just going to be, hey, I'm flying you down to like watch my dog. No, we're going to get some time in together. She's going to see my new home or at least temporary home and see what it's like down there and get a little bit of R&R hopefully, since she's been absolutely insane right now getting ready for Tori's wedding, which is next June. And I will say, I guess this can be my one more thing. It's not that long. It's literally like 30 seconds. But just wanted to welcome my youngest brother back stateside after 3 months of travel. I know my parents are breathing easy right now, as are all of us. The kid tore it up. He started in Japan. From there, extensively traveled through China. From there, I met him in Hong Kong. From there, we went to Vietnam. He then went off to Thailand and the Philippines and you name it. The dude absolutely crushed it. So proud of him. He stopped in Sydney, Australia on the way back just to one-up me in the continent department, which I'm pissed about. He now has 6 of 7 continents down at 22. I have him by 8.5 years. I have 5 of 7 continents down, and it makes me want to cancel Banff and go to Australia during my week. But I'm not going to do that because it's not enough time to go enjoy Australia. So all seriousness, wanted to congratulate him on an unbelievable backpack.
Yeah.
And now he gets to start his first ever big boy job in the real world, September 8th at a company called SC&H in Sparks, Maryland. And we're all just really excited for him in this next chapter.
Man, that's crazy how long he's been gone, Bobby. Like I've done, like sometimes I'll do like 2, I've done like a 2, maybe 2.5 week vacation where it's like overseas and I'm for sure done. Like I'm done. And it's like, I'm ready to go home and like reset and maybe go do another one. But the fact that he went 3 months straight and he's like it's not like he's living it up in like these 5-star hotels, right? Like he's in these hostels with like sleeping next to, random people and who knows who his roommate's going to be one night and who he's going to go out with another night. And so like what a sense of an adventure he has. And I've been able to follow some of it on Instagram. So I follow like a lot of your family now. Like we're like buds now on Instagram. Yeah. So it's been a joy to watch that. And I'm glad he's home. That's what a great way to like have a nice transition between college and his first real world job full-time, like 3 months across the world. Good for him.
I couldn't agree more. Sometimes it's so easy to just jump right into your professional life, especially if money is of the essence. And for him to have budgeted accordingly and busted his butt the last several years leading into this trip, I think he just felt confident. He doesn't come back with much to his name, but he's got the job. He's living in Fells Point, which is a crazy full circle thing for our family, being that Tori and I lived right on Bond Street, for those of you familiar with the area, right out of school. And so Fells continues, the Trosset trend, I guess, in Fells Point continues. I'll be visiting him and just wanted to shout him out now that he's back stateside. He's in Denver with Tori right now for a couple of days, comes back to Albany, Baltimore in between those two so he can move in, get all his stuff out of our storage space that we have together. He better be careful because I had to pack that thing to the brim. I've already told him a million times, if you start throwing things around on limited sleep, I'm going to be ticked. So, yeah, shout out
Fair warning.
John Cooper. Yeah. And God King wants to know, or I think he's giving you some love here on your diction, dichotomy. I think he liked the word dichotomy that you used.
Oh, I don't even remember using it.
Did you not?
I'm sure. It doesn't surprise me if I did. I can't remember all the words I used today. We've been going for an hour and 40 minutes.
Thanks to God King for paying to figure that out, or to at least
to point out that I used the word dichotomy.
Yeah, correct.
Was that when I was talking about regular season Lamar and postseason Lamar? Is that when I used it? Okay,
maybe. Or Greg and Todd. I don't know what it was, but
maybe.
And DJP was just giving himself a little bit of a spell correct here.
Yeah.
For this one, been a busy last 2 weeks. I would imagine getting ready for school to start, and of course his new baby boy who's on the way.
Yeah, we
Congratulations.
start school here. We start school here next week. My kids will be going back.
Yeah, all the commercials have begun. You know it. All the CVS's and Walmarts and are getting rated right now for. I know you've done that already. I think.
Yeah,
All the
we've
school
got our
prep
shopping done.
Yep, it's exciting time. It's also a bittersweet time. I'm sure teachers got to get back into it. Educators back in the building. John Will celebrating 2 months of channel membership, throwing some prayers up for S. aka you, and your mother-in-law. So
yeah, I appreciate that.
Same with me. Same with me.
More for her, like we're fine, right? It's just it's too bad because we're trying to get back on track, and it's just a step back. And so I hope she's just not deflated too much,
Yep.
So
No doubt. Echo that. So with that, appreciate you guys for spending some time with us on this Thursday edition. I feel like we need to, I don't know. I feel like I just kind of ramble off these as just like a rehearsed thing that I do at the end of and beginning of every show. But I just want to kind of give a little bit more of an emphasis to it. Liking the video goes a long way. Subscribing goes a long way. Hitting that notification bell so you can just be reminded of when we go live goes a long way. Supporting us at thevaultpod.com/shop goes insanely long ways because that's a way of promoting the show. You rock a polo like this on the golf course, and maybe you get paired up with a random single or something, and they're like, hey, what's the vault or what's that wheel logo? And then maybe you end up being a Ravens fan, and next thing you know, we got a new subscriber. Like, it's that type of stuff that I think, especially with football season now here, goes so long. Maybe you're on a road trip with the team, with Be More Around Town. Maybe you're at a tailgate. Maybe you're out at, the practices, the fan practices are now over for the Ravens. But you get the point. It's a small town in Baltimore, and word of mouth goes a long way for us. So thank you guys. And thanks to all of our channel members. Thanks to all of our gift givers. And thanks to you, partner. For Sarah Ellison, I'm Bobby Trossett signing off from this Thursday edition. We'll catch up with you in well under 23 hours from right now for a Friday show. And until then, Vaultrons, thanks for spending some time with us here inside the Vault. We'll talk to you soon.